This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to IcoPod. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with episode 45 of IcoPod. I'm Bob Collier Jr. And with me, as always, is a man that would not wait for 3 bonsai drops to be delivered to me to come make the save, like Randy Savage did for Crush. It's Austin Skinner. What's going on, man?
That's right, Bob. Never would I wait for 3. I'd let him hit 5 on you before I got into the ring, buddy.
And as well, as I was doing that opening, you like had a look of confusion. And I could tell that that's why you were thinking in your head, no, I'd let like 5 or 6 go.
Right. Yeah, because, well, first of all, I'm scared of Yokozuna, of course. Right. So I'm definitely not getting in his way, first of all. Second of all, fuck you. So take 6 and probably never appear on Raw again. That's the way I'm thinking.
Wow, we have such a loving friendship that it's like, just go fuck yourself. You'll just get broken ribs and probably bleed from the mouth and maybe choke on your blood. It's fine.
Well, see, now on the opposite hand here, Bob, if I were to, be in your shoes, you would politic me to the point where I wouldn't even get on Raw. So,
well, no, you would be, but you'd be like Dwayne Gill and you would just get destroyed by Scott Steiner.
Or like fake Repo Man. So like not the real one.
No, well, remember, when I do the fantasy WWF booking, right? Yeah. And I made you and Dallas like job guys.
Right.
And your gimmick was
we think we're the champions.
Yeah, you come out with replica belts and you're like, I'm the Intercontinental Champion, Razor Ramon. What are you talking about? And he would just beat you in like 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah. I'm in love with that idea.
I think it was pretty funny.
So,
let's put that on pay-per-view when you're in my fantasy booking. And
be God.
AJ Fatal against Razor Ramon in a ladder match, and the ladder match be like 45 seconds.
Holy shit. Good Lord. People will be like, what the fuck is this?
He throws the toothpick in your eye, and then you're like,
I'm done. I drop.
You're blind. You're blind. Yeah. You don't know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be pretty funny. In case you're just joining IcoPod, we are into November of 93. As you can tell by the title when you clicked on this to listen to it. We're heading into Survivor Series. The major angle going on right now is Randy Savage and Crush. Their friendship has exploded, which is what I was referencing when I opened the show.
The Mega Powers have exploded.
It's bigger than the Mega Powers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it.
The other major program, I guess you could say, or angle, is the All-Americans and Foreign Fanatics. They're talking a lot, I guess. I don't know. That would appear to be the other really major angle, right? I don't think there's anything else really all that major.
That they've really built up, not necessarily, no, but I mean they partner up guys that are like, for example, okay, they've quote unquote built up the 4 doinks thing, or like the multiple doinks thing.
Oh yeah.
But the team that's opposing them, fucking Booger, Bam Bam, like in the Head Shrinkers, like what does that fucking even account for? I feel like Bam Bam would never tag with any of those people.
Well, I could see Bam Bam with the Head Shrinkers because he did that at SummerSlam. But Booger to me is a joke. I don't know why he's even involved in that.
It's very confusing. But I mean, I guess technically they've kind of built that up, which I have in my notes, but I'm very interested to see how they pull off the 4 doinks thing, especially because, well, we know Matt Bourne's going to be one. Steve Kern's probably going to be one. Who's the fucking other 2? Brooklyn Brawler, I guess. And
for the doinks, there's Brawler.
Yeah.
Apollo, Kern.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Apollo. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of glaringly obvious when you have the original Doink in there with 3 other fill-in guys.
Well, I don't think Matt Bourne's there anymore.
Oh no, he is. Because actually, I want to say they flash back us to Superstars at one point, and you can tell it's Matt Bourne doing the promo.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be there by Survivor Series.
Oh, interesting.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right.
I think they have to change something around a little bit, but we'll get there in about 4 weeks now, 3 or 4 weeks. So
yes, soon.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really, which is to be expected. I mean, Survivor Series is like a filler pay-per-view.
As we've spoke about, for sure.
Yeah. So there's not really any major angles aside from Randy and Crush. So in terms of angles and stuff, that'll likely increase come, January and stuff like that for Rumble and heading into Mania. So
we're ready.
Right after Survivor Series.
Yes.
But let's get into some observer notes, house shows and syndication before we get into the Raw episode. Both Mr. Perfect and Bam Bam Bigelow have been pulled from the road to take care of family issues. Perfect hasn't had his revealed yet, but Bigelow's wife is giving birth, so that would explain why he is off the road for a little bit.
Luna?
Could you imagine that? If she was a screamer, oh yeah,
oh god, and then the hand comes out. It's got tattoos on it.
Okay, that's gross. As we just mentioned, Matt Bourne, the original Doink, will not be back. So I'm assuming in the next couple of weeks we'll not be seeing him on television anymore.
As a quick aside here, Bob, it's and we've touched on this before, but it is such a shame because I would say the first month or 2 of Doink was really, really good. Like they didn't know how good it was. Good. And it's just a cliff dive after that. I mean, and then to kind of fizzle out and then end the way it's going to for Matt Bourne here. It's just such a shame because I don't think he really got a fair shake, especially with the amount of legitimacy he brought to a evil clown character. I'd say he got it over pretty good to the point where it's still a character that pops up on TV even these days. And I think you really, really have to credit Matt Bourne for establishing that character the way he did. Because, I mean, think about it. You don't see a random, Max Moon appearance or anything like, you know what I mean? There's a specific touch that Matt Bourne gave to Doink that I think kind of made him almost a timeless character. I mean, it helps that it's a clown and you can paint anybody up and you know what I mean, as long as the body shape kind of matches. But for it to be as memorable as it is, and valuable, I think you really have to credit Matt Bourne for that.
Without question. He's the guy that bought into it.
For sure.
And that's why it made it so great.
For sure.
I know I've said in past episodes that I don't really look forward to Doink matches. I mean, they're good, but it's not something I would necessarily, buy money or, pay money to see, back when it was Savage and Jannetty or whatever.
Right.
But there's no question that the character is entertaining and he did a great job with it. So
for sure. And I
would say up till August with like the SummerSlam thing, that's really good. And then as soon as they turn him face in September, it's just like, this is it.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm not huge on the cloning thing, like I think that's stupid. 2 Doinks, 3 Doinks, 16 Doinks. You know what I mean? I really,
especially when they do it on the screen and you're supposed to think that they're all different, and they're just doing the stupid.
It's just separate videos. Yeah. That aside, I think when you boil Doink down to Doink, just Doink, evil clown Matt Bourne, it's something really, really unique and very special, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely a unique character and something that stood out.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he certainly needed at a time when it needed to happen. So
yeah.
The 11-1 Raw, which featured Booger and Ramon, got a 2.8 rating.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised by that.
When I stumbled upon that, I was like, really? Almost a 3 on that.
I would have expected much, much lower, to be honest.
I was going to expect something like what the Steiners and Quebecers got, like a 1.9.
Yeah.
Because that was promoted, right? That Matt, they had said Booger Ramon next week. So
it was promoted.
Kind of weird. Greg Valentine, Greg the Hammer Valentine, your local lesbian gym teacher. That's what at least he looks like. Has accepted an offer to return to the WWF and should be back by late November. Meltzer suggests that the same can be said for Medusa. So I don't know if this is like Medusa and Valentine like are dating or something, and he's saying that they're, if he's coming back, then Medusa is probably coming back as well. Or if it's just like if Valentine took the offer from he was working WCW, I think at the time, roughly around that time. That if he took it, then Medusa, who's also in WCW, or was at least around that time, she would probably take the same offer. So I don't know. I may have read between the lines there.
Well, unless Hammer is her kind of that's her contact to make a move or something like that. Yeah. But the thing that baffles me is they'll hire back guys like Martel. They'll hire back guys like Valentine. For what?
Jannetty 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but like for what?
Because it's a recognition. It's a name. Put over your new guys, That's probably what they're thinking. Oh, Valentine was huge in '84, so if he loses to Ramon, maybe some fans will be like, oh, wow, Ramon beat Valentine. I don't think it works like that because I think us as fans were like, he's played out. He's not good anymore.
Yeah, he's an old man. He's comparatively, he's an old man.
Yeah.
I don't think they bring as much value as the company sees them bringing. Like Martel especially, I feel like is really to the point where you probably don't need to hire him back again. And they do. So and not only that, he's featured on several Raws. He's going to be on the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
It's not like they're just using him as a shoe-in guy to get beat, and elevating their guys. They're more or less, he is technically a fall guy probably, but even still, he's having IC championship matches with Razor Ramon. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I don't like they choose to go that route personally.
Well, I think it's when they do it, when they have that mindset, it's a clear sign of a disconnection from their fans.
Well,
guys that were big 10 years ago, are you really going to have the same impact, today? It'd be like, it's like a more modern thing, right? So it's 2018.
Right.
If Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy were to come back to the WWF and lose to Elias, our fans are going to be like, holy fuck, Elias just beat Mr. Kennedy.
Right.
No. Or if MVP were to come back on Raw, wow, Seth Rollins has pinned MVP. Can't believe it. Like, no, it's not going to happen.
Great example. Look at Shelton Benjamin.
I like Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, but he came back and what's he done?
Well, yeah, that they've used him poorly, I would say. He had a pretty good match with Daniel Bryan on SmackDown fairly recently, I think it was.
Well, to be fair, I don't necessarily watch, but again,
I don't either.
Yeah. So again, it's just that's I think a pretty good comparison that you've made as far as like modern stars. You bring it back, a guy like this, does it really add anything? Is it really impactful, memorable? I don't know.
You cut out on me.
Sure. Good excuse.
It's okay. Let's get into some house show notes. This show took place in Providence, Rhode Island at the Civic Center, November 7th, 93, and had a crowd of 5,400. Rick Martel took on Marty Jannetty. Owen Hart battled Bashir. Doink the Clown squared off against the Brooklyn Brawler, who was a substitute for Bam Bam Bigelow, but still had Luna Vachon by his corner. Bob Backlund was a substitute for Mr. Perfect. He squared off against Diesel. The Undertaker challenged WWF World Champion Yokozuna in a casket match. The WWF Tag Team Champions Quebecers defended against the Smoking Guns. And in the main event, Lex Luger battled Ludvig Borga.
Ooh. So a lot of subs, a lot of switch arounds. I might have skipped that show, honestly.
I think I would have. I think I would have as well. If I had gone to that show and they announced at that time of the substitutions, I'd probably be pissed.
Oh my god, yeah, for sure. Well, because without the switch arounds and stuff, it's a decent card. I mean, we're probably going to see a lot of fuckery occur, of course, but that's to be expected. I mean, otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the main draw of Borga and Luger drawing me in. I mean, casket match, Yokozuna Taker,
It's probably not going to be a great match. So
right, and again, there's going to be some fuckery involved.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I would have skipped that one.
Yeah, I would have as well. Although I did read a report that there's 5,400 fans in attendance. They announced that the Royal Rumble was taking place in Providence.
Oh,
and that tickets were going on sale that day, and that they sold 2,500 tickets. So just almost about half for the people there were like, "Well, I'm going to the Rumble."
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's a pretty good indicator. For Providence, what's going on there? So
for sure, and you really think about it. I mean, 5,400 fans. That's more than your typical Raw's been getting, and that's a live taping.
Oh yeah.
So not too bad. Not too bad of a draw there. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Hey, our ratings are starting to swing up a little bit. We're drawing some crowds. Maybe we're on the ups for 94. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think in-ring quality better improve pretty quick because the business is going to really start changing pretty quick, I think. So
maybe they shouldn't have Lex Luger in their main events.
With Borga, probably not. No.
Yeah, probably not a good fit. Let's go into some syndication. And this week we have 2 matches that we're going to be covering because it's sweeps month, so they have to have some competitive matches on there for ratings. The first match is Rick Steiner taking on WWF Tag Team Champion Quebecer Jacques.
Yeah.
That took place on the November 6th edition of Superstars. We'll just get right into it here. Jacques slaps Rick at the start and then gets chased around ringside. He then rolls into the ring and gets slammed by Steiner since he thought Rick was chasing him on the floor, but Rick was, I guess, showing his brilliance by just rolling into the ring and then taking care of the champion. Rick tosses Jacques with the overhead belly-to-belly suplex, and then Polo tries to distract him, but Rick hits a power slam for a 2 count. At this point, Pierre comes out, and Rick gets kneed from behind, sending him to the floor. Polo hits Rick on the floor and gets chased by Scott Steiner, who came from the backstage area, and he chases both Polo and Pierre to the backstage area. We go to commercial, and when we come back, Jacques has kept control with an abdominal stretch, but Rick comes out of it with a hip toss. Jacques clotheslines Rick to maintain control of the match. Rick staggers Jacques with a jawbreaker, and they trade some strikes. Rick gets dropped over the top rope for a 2 count. Jacques tries for a pile driver, but Rick counters with a double leg slam. They collide, coming off the ropes. Rick crotches Jacques on the top rope, and he plays to the crowd. He backdrops Jacques, followed by a few clotheslines. Rick scoop slams Jacques and then goes to the top rope, hitting a bulldog for the win. Now, I will tell you right now, I was not expecting a clean finish. With especially all of the interference that was going on here.
Yeah.
It was like decent, nothing overly that great. I thought Jacques slowed it down considerably. Not much going on for excitement, though. Again, I appreciate a clean finish. I mean, that's even rarities on Raw, seemingly.
Right.
We get any kind of clean finish. So that part of it, I appreciated.
I would have to agree with you. I thought, it was a much better little match than I thought it was going to be. When you first think of, Rick Steiner and Jacques, like, oh, fuck, here we go. But no, I think they were able to string together a decent little match, regardless of the interference. It was nice that Polo was gone pretty quick too. So we didn't really have to worry about him too much. I thought it was really interesting that the crowd was popping after each move that Rick Steiner hit. So, maybe he has just as much fans as Scott does at this point. Maybe, they're pretty even, which I didn't think was the case quite yet. So that was enjoyable. I mean, they did chant for Scotty when he was, coming down to the ring, but of course that was already because he was in the arena. Yeah, with that said, it was a pleasant surprise. I'm glad that I didn't hate this match. And the top rope bulldog, I think, looked really good. I think that's a cool little finisher for Rick Steiner. So, yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. I was into it.
Cool. Although, it's funny that you mentioned that Rick Steiner having maybe just as many fans as Scott Steiner. I believe like in 91, I think Scott was hurt, but they were trying to make Rick like a legitimate challenger for the world title against Lex Luger.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember I think there's a house show that I have that I have not watched ever, but I do have it, where he challenges Luger. And I think there was there had to have been a Clash of Champions that Rick Steiner challenged Luger for the belt as well. So they were trying to kind of position him as that potential guy. He's had like a TV title run before, I think, in the NWA, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
In a single sense.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, he does have charisma, with the dog face Kremlin thing. Like, he has charisma, but I think Scott's charisma has always kind of overshined Rick's. So, maybe in that sense, hey, Scott Steiner's hurt. You probably could make a star out of Rick Steiner. But I guess it surprised me that, people were just into Rick as much as Scott here. Because, again, Scott's been the one who he'll get the hot tag and he'll come in and he'll do the flashy power moves and be very vocal to the crowd. And I don't know. It was just interesting to me. I was like, oh, okay. It was a pleasant surprise. It was cool to see that, fans were kind of reacting to Rick Steiner more than I thought they would.
Yeah, and then like in 99 or so, 98, 99, like they kind of like WCW gives another push to Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Scott Steiner was always, I think from 93 onward, Scott Steiner was always seen as the top, the top one.
Yeah.
Top guy of the brothers.
Yeah.
Not to say that Rick didn't have a successful career or nothing, but
right. Comparatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second match that we're going to cover from syndication took place on the same show. It's Adam Bomb taking on Marty Jannetty. Jannetty doesn't look excited making his entrance. He seems as if he could give two fucks. Like, he does just not care that he's coming out. Maybe instantly think like, well, he's going to lose. Like,
yeah,
he must not be thrilled about it.
And it's funny you bring up entrances because Adam Bomb makes his way out with Harvey, and they get no reaction.
That has been the trend with him, though.
No, not boos, not cheer, just nothing. There's just nothing. So I
think that's a lack of investment into the character to get him over.
I agree.
So Jannetty quickly rolls into the ring and they trade some right hands. Bomb slams Jannetty, but then misses a few elbow drops. And then I hate that spot where he misses one. He goes for a second one and then Jannetty rolls again. It's like, dude, you just missed it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Bomb runs into a boot in the corner, and then Jannetty hits a top rope clothesline for a 2 count. Referee gets in between them in the corner, and Jannetty leaps over Bomb. Rippleman attacks Jannetty on the floor. 1, 2, 3 kid.
You froze up on me, Bob.
Works over Kid in the corner. Kid and Jannetty double team Bomb until Rick Martel slides into the ring, and he evens the odds. Diesel and Razor Ramon both run into the ring. IRS comes down as well. The 3 faces clear out the 4 heels. And my main question, prior to the Observer Notes, where was Mr. Perfect?
Ooh. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think, and sorry, you froze up on me there a little bit.
I could tell, but I just got that rock.
Yes, of course. Just ignore me. So basically, I mean, the only thing there was a couple things.
All right, now we head into the November 8th. Oh, so see, that's what I'm doing, ignoring you.
Bob, let me talk, damn it. Jerk. All right, so a couple things I took away from this. Number one, again, Bomb getting 0 reaction, which sucks. Also, I like when these two are paired together, even though maybe Marty's not totally invested in it. I really enjoy seeing the brief interactions, although this match seemed very, very rushed, like they were either cut on time or they knew they didn't have a lot of time. Especially in the very early part of the match, I can kind of tell that they're just kind of running through everything. I think, it served its purpose, I guess, this match, as far as hyping up, Survivor Series. I think that's the only motivation with this match, which kind of sucks because, again, I like when these two square off. I think Marty bumps around good for Bomb, and I think Bomb can learn a lot from Marty Jannetty. So, other than that, I was kind of deflated, but at least they're building for the big show, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a redundancy, though, with Survivor Series. They all come out and they all brawl. They all,
right.
What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's just the same played out bullshit.
Yep. That they still do today. That they still do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is something they've been doing for decades. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, really, it's not even that much of a match. It's just kind of an angle advancement. And I just wanted us to watch another Adam Bomb match. That's why I sent it to you.
Good.
It was either that, or I'll tell you right now, I skipped a syndication match where Bastion Booger pinned 1-2-3 Kid.
Oh, fucking A.
Yeah, so I'd rather, the podcast not end on that note because we both probably would be like, well, we're done watching this now.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Do that. Yeah.
Well, so, I appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. Looking out for you, man. That was my Christmas present to you.
Yes.
That brings us now to the November 8th edition of Monday Night Raw, and it takes place at Bushkill, Pennsylvania, and we are live in a living color. The show starts off with a video package voiced by Vince McMahon promoting the Ludvig Borga Scott Steiner showdown. We then get some pre-tape comments from both men. Borga says he's going to finish Scott Steiner like he's finished all the other lousy wrestlers. Scott Steiner chimes in and says that he will shut Borga up for bad-mouthing his country. That's basically the general gist of it. I like these pieces, though. That kind of makes the match seem like it's a bigger deal than what it probably is. So I kind of liked what they did here. Corny a little bit, but I liked it.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know what it reminded me of was the, a couple months back, the Money Inc. one, where it's like the black background.
Yeah, with like the Beverly Brothers and shit like that.
Yeah, and it's just like the talking heads, and then they face off, but it's not really physically facing off. They face the heads toward each other, and they kind of play back and forth, that sort of thing. I think it's an interesting way of doing it. I'm surprised they brought it back for this. But any screen time with Scott Steiner, I'm totally down for, because I feel like he's always on the edge of snapping, and he's just on his best behavior right now in 1993.
Yeah.
But you can tell even, he, back then when he let out a couple swears they had to bleep out or whatever. Not very recently, I think, within the last, I want to say, month or two we've been watching on Raw. But yeah, I feel like you can just tell that a madman is boiling underneath Scott Steiner. So anytime he's talking or on my screen, I am definitely okay with it. I think it's going to be an interesting match. Borga, Steiner, two power guys. Of course, you don't expect anything clean, or at least I don't. So we'll see what happens there. But I thought it was an okay, instead of just doing the regular hype with the Vince McMahon, voiceover, at least they mixed in something else.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a Survivor Series match, so of course, you can probably figure that something will happen.
Exactly.
Raw opening video, as per usual. That brings us to Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, and Randy Savage. They are all on commentary. Heenan says he's going to parachute into an upcoming boxing match, but McMahon tells him that the fight has already happened. Because, Heenan has like the whole parachute over his shoulders.
The best, yeah. Yep.
Same, yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, well, we weren't that good of friends anyway. He was going to do it with somebody else or whatever, and the guy got caught, and he's like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Comes out here. McMahon promotes a phone number for fans to pick who Pierre will wrestle next week. Will it be the 1-2-3 Kid, Doink the Clown, Marty Jannetty, or Lex Luger? Now, judging from those 4 people, obviously the choice here is Marty Jannetty. Everybody loves Marty. They're going to want to see him face Quebecer Pierre. 1, 2, 3 kid. Sure, he's a young guy. He's not proven yet. Doink the Clown, great character. And, and Lex Luger is like a scrub. He's kind of a jobber. So I doubt that, even on TV, he hasn't been presented all that well. Because you got to look at it this way. Number one, he lost to Yokozuna, or he won again at SummerSlam against Yokozuna, but it was only by countout. So it was like he didn't even beat a jabroni.
Yeah,
he put him on his shoulders. He's afraid to ask out girls on dates. His father was like, you got to either do instrument or sports.
He abused him.
Yep. He abused him, emotionally. And, he claimed that he's a liar because he said he played in the NFL and he never did. He never even had it down. He was on the Packers roster, but he got hurt. He never played. So I don't think anybody would possibly. So he's probably not going to get any votes because, Americans, they don't do that. They don't vote for liars, corruption. People you can't trust. So
where are you going with this, Bob?
I don't know. I was trying to incorporate Donald Trump into this somehow, but
oh, really? I couldn't tell.
I kind of lost my train of thought. So
I think it's very interesting, this whole, call in to vote shit, because up until very recently, they haven't been doing this. So this must be, another way to generate some revenue for them. And that's pretty much it. I'm sure that the match is probably booked either way, because odds are next episode of Raw is a taping. So, we already have that in the can potentially. So I just think it's funny, and I think it's interesting that that they're going with this, because this is going to be a big thing throughout the 90s. This whole call in and vote, or call in and, talk on the hotline kind of thing.
There's one time, I think in like 95 or whatever, they're like, they have it's like 96 or something, right after the trial for OJ. They're like, did OJ do it? Let us know. Vote 1 for yes, 2 for no. It's like, what are you doing? What?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's very bizarre. It's bizarre. So it definitely dates what we're watching for sure. Oh, yeah. It's just funny. I find it funny that they're really ramping this up. Just, lately, like the last couple of weeks, they've been doing this. So we'll see. We'll see how crazy it gets as we move forward.
Well, and the thing is, like, the idea evolves through the years. Later on, when there's like Taboo Tuesday and stuff like that, you can do polls and shit instead of calling a hotline number.
Right.
So they've always done it. And of course, as soon as you hear these 4 names, obviously the attempt here is for Lex Luger to win.
Sure. They hope. They hope.
Because, you can see that there's no Razor Ramon. There's no Bret Hart.
No.
There's no Undertaker or anything. There's no bigger name.
No.
It's just like, hey, we'll put 3 mid-carders and we'll put the guy we've invested the most money into in there as well.
Right.
So if Lex Luger doesn't win the poll,
imagine.
Holy fuck. Like, what
fucking Doink wins.
Yeah. All right. Fuck. Get rid of Lexi Press. Get that fucking clown car. We're pushing up to the moon, brother. Is that what they're going to do? Like, I don't even know.
Good Lord.
Yeah. That brings us to our first match of the evening, which is Ludvig Borga, the gentleman from Finland. And he's taking on Freak Daddy Scott Steiner. That's about 7 years too early, but never know.
Yeah.
The match starts off with Borga attacking Steiner before he can even take his ring jacket off. He strikes Steiner several times before leaping off the top to hit a clothesline. Steiner fights back with a double underhook powerbomb followed by a pump handle slam. Borga bailed to the floor to regroup. Borga returns to the ring and controls Steiner with a side headlock, which halted the match for seemingly a half hour.
Speaking of halting the match here, Bob, speaking of that, let's just pause and reflect. Okay, I was watching Borga in this match. I didn't take too many notes because I was trying to actually just watch. And 2 things. Number 1, Borga's boobs are huge. Like, they're big.
Borga and Steiner?
No. Borga's boobs are big. Just Borga's.
Why are you focusing on his boobs?
Because they were huge. So that's number one.
It's called pectoral muscles.
Oh, no. Those are tits. Those are a solid D cup boobs. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, Borga seems to have some sort of bald eagle tattoo on his shoulder, which totally contradicts the whole character that he's trying to portray here. Now, unless I saw that wrong, again, that's a bald eagle tattoo on his shoulder. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a bunch of eagles in Finland.
Something tells me no.
Okay.
So definitely keep those two images in mind. Okay, Borga's huge boobs and the tattoo on his shoulder of a bald eagle. So
maybe it's Hulk Hogan in disguise.
I mean, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to seem stupid.
WrestleMania 10 in the Garden, we're gonna get Luger and Borga, and right before the match, Borga will take off his mask, and it's gonna be Hulk Hogan. And Hogan's going to be like, I can't believe all you guys would cheer for this fucking fraud. And it's Hogan. And you get Hogan Luger at WrestleMania 10. And it's just like, no, I'm a real American. I'm the first real American. And then Luger like, no, I am. And then Sergeant Slaughter is going to come running out. And he'd be like, I was here before both of y'all. I'm a real American. And yeah, sure, I turned and I went to Iraq for a couple of months there. But no, man. Yeah, USA. And then like Lou Thesz will come running out. And he'll be like, no, man. I might be, 58 years old or whatever, but like I'm gonna fuck you up. And then no. And then George will come running out. And he'll be like, hey, brother, no. And then
then Hogan's like, you could call this the New World Organization of Professional Wrestling, brother.
Yeah. Come on. Can you imagine that as a gauntlet match?
No, it's the new NWO, dude.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah. There you go. Book it.
I should restart because I'm already past WrestleMania 10. I should restart my fantasy booking and then do that. Borga, he grabs his chin. He's lifting up. What's this? It's Hulk Hogan. What the hell?
Good Lord.
Could you imagine? That'd be great.
Yeah. That would be something.
Back to the match here. I kind of forgot where I'm at. Oh, yeah, that's right. The side headlock of doom. Steiner tosses Borga with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex for a 2 count. Borga comes off the ropes to clothesline Steiner for another near fall. At this point, the Quebecers make their way down to the ring. When Borga gets dropkicked to the floor, we go to commercial. There seems to be a trend with these fucking matches as we get close to Survivor Series. Steiner brings Borga into the ring from the apron with a suplex. Rick Steiner makes his way down to the ringside to help out his brother. Steiner has the Boston Crab on Borga for a few moments. Steiner nearly wins. Borga plants Steiner with a power slam for a 2 count. Borga punches Scott to the floor and he taunts the fans. Rick gets on the apron, but Jacques distracts Rick, allowing Borga to pull Rick into the ring. That leads to a brawl with everyone, and the match is thrown out. Are you surprised by any of that?
Can't you tell?
You're just like, you're holding your head up with your arm like not to fall asleep as I was reading that.
Yeah, they build it up and they fuck you. It's like a bait and switch. Here, suck on one of these. That's what they give us. Really quick, just some kind of side notes here before I talk about all that bullshit.
Yeah.
In the crowd, we do have a Ludvig Borga sign that says Borga is finished, which I thought was pretty creative, as in he's finished, but he's finished. So there you go. Points for that. Also, during this match, we get some commentary notes here. Savage again made reference to Crush and told Heenan that he would deal with Heenan later. So Savage seems to be just as hot as Heenan for all of this as he is on Crush, which I think is good storytelling there. Vince reminded Savage of the clause in his contract, so he brings the contract back up here. And Savage says that if Jack Tunney has anything to say to him, he'll slap his face too. So very, very strong words from Savage here on commentary. He says, forget the red tape, forget the clauses, kind of all gloves are off at this point. And again, I think it's important to note that Vince does make reference to that contract because that's something that they've done in the past. That's something that they're really weaving in pretty heavily with Savage. So I definitely wanted to, again, make a note of that for this match. And we get that right around the middle area. As far as the ending, surprise, here we are. Fucking double DQ interference. Everybody runs in. Oh my fucking God, didn't see that coming.
You can't control anything here in the WWF. You never know what's going to happen.
Like, holy shit.
I mean, yeah, we wouldn't know what happened unless, it hasn't happened in 3 matches on this episode alone. 2 on syndication. And now this one.
Hey. It's just, you know what? I think if nothing else for Survivor Series, I'm just glad that we're going to be there and then moving away because really all of 93 has been plagued with bullshit finishes. And Survivor Series just times it by 10. So like every match is a bullshit finish match.
Yeah.
So I'm really sick of that at this point. I think, with what we had, we might have had something interesting. If they didn't get friggin' 20 minutes and a DQ finish, if they would have cut it to 5 and let somebody get a, definitive pin in either way. I don't know. I just, it is what it is. The match was super long. We got several commercial breaks. And other than the comments I noted on commentary, that was even kind of dull for this match. There wasn't really anything going on. So, it was what it was kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Borga is just not really impressing me at all in the ring.
Oh, you don't say.
On any level. And yeah, and then we were talking about it just a few minutes ago. If I was the WWF booker, so if I'm Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, or Jerry Jarrett, whichever.
Okay.
I'm in the meetings and I'm like, guys, we gotta put the strap on Scotty. We do. We gotta do it. We gotta do it right now. We gotta have him toss around jobbers for every week. He can have some big profile matches on pay-per-view, but we gotta put the strap on him. Right? Let's just do it. Let's just get it over with. We could probably, the guy is fucking jacked. The guy can do some incredible moves. Okay, the Frankensteiner, the Steiner screwdriver, all these suplexes, all this other bullshit.
Pump handle slams and fucking belly to bellies across the ring. And
yeah, would you rather do that or would you rather have Lex Luger punches. Doing a running forearm?
Yeah.
That is technically illegal.
Right.
Seems like a pretty obvious choice.
Well, it's interesting, too, because we brought that up all the way back, I want to say, around King of the Ring time. They could have easily, built their organic star in Scott Steiner. Easily. And, the fact that even now, even here, where he's still delivering consistently, again, it's another one of those things where it's a shame. It's just a shame that I don't know. He was kind of pigeonholed in that tag, scene, and nothing really beyond that for the WWF.
Yeah. Well, I remember like on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, like, they had mentioned it, like, oh, maybe he should win the Rumble or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Vince was like, no, I like him as a tag team. I would have slapped Vince in the face.
Just like Savage is going to slap Jack Tunney.
That's right. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like you said, though, really, if you were, on the board of bookies or whatever for WWF, I think from now until Rumble, if you have Scott Steiner slamming motherfuckers around every week, you have him win the Royal Rumble. Now we're talking. Now that's an organic fucking star that's ready to take the title away. But at that point, who do you have the title on? You can't be you can't have Brett. Brett's way too over. And it ain't gonna be Borga,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yoko, I think at this point is kind of, ran his roost as far as the title goes. They've kind of tainted that at this point. I don't know. It's an interesting thought, though. I could easily see Steiner as a star in 93 singles. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I keep on referencing it, and maybe it's just funny for comparison, but again, for when I was, when I do my fantasy booking there or whatever, I have him as my IC champ. And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, why not?
I might even have him win the 1996 Royal Rumble. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Oh boy.
I haven't written
down.
Spoiler
alert.
Who knows? You never know. Making a lot of money in my fantasy world of nothing. Anyway, anyways, for the match was, it was okay, whatever, boring for the most part. Typical finish.
Yeah.
Nothing really to care about.
Right.
The commentators promote the option to pick the opponent for Pierre next week. We then go to a vignette promoting Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett is in a car with his own personal driver. He's outside the Grand Ole Opry.
Did you catch the driver's name, Bob?
No, I did not.
Billy Ray Brooks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do. Okay, I did hear it, but I didn't write it down yet.
Yes.
Billy Ray Brooks. And he's inside a classic Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett says that this is a prime example of corruption and says that the place is dead with there being spray paint on the building, graffiti. It just looks run down. The place is so dead that it reminds him of The Undertaker. He's going to use The Undertaker, and he's going to use the WWF. The company will be renamed WJF. The building will be renamed after him as well, as it will be called the Double J Auditorium.
Mm.
So,
yeah, he calls back to his old driver, Billy Ray Brooks. He goes, "What's that dead boy's name in the WWF?"
Right, yeah. And the drivers like similar to at SummerSlam with like the Lex Express driver. He's like, "Oh yeah, Lex Luger." I wonder if it's the same driver. I should look it up. But Jarrett asks the driver, and he goes, "Yeah, the Undertaker."
He goes, "Oh yeah, the Undertaker."
That's right.
Yeah. What's that old dead boy's name in the WWF? Even though he's made reference to him like 3 times at this point. He forgets his name completely. Hilarious. Big fan of this little vignette here. I'm really looking forward to Jeff Jarrett coming in. I'm interested to see how many more vignettes they can kind of squeeze out before he does have to finally make his debut. But maybe that's part of the genius. Maybe they're really trying to kind of piss off the crowd and milk this. He's just going to keep doing vignette after vignette, and the crowd's just going to get so sick of it. It's like, holy shit. By the time he debuts, they're booing the fuck out of him because they're sick of this guy. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, I think Jarrett delivers what he's supposed to. I mean, I hate country music and stuff, so I guess that's what they're trying to play off of.
And that's what it seems like. He's from Tennessee, so he's got to love country music, and he's just going to drive it down your throat to the point where you hate him because he likes country music.
Right. Right.
So does this? I wonder if Men on a Mission, if they're ever going to turn heel, or are they going to make it so like they start singing about hitting women and doing drugs, and then they're like, I hate rap music now.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't. I mean, it's kind of weird because you would think the country music guy would be face, and then the rappers would be heels.
Well, yeah. Typically, no. If we were in the South.
Oh well, yeah.
That's exactly what the case would be.
Well, yeah, and we've mentioned this before, like the Gangstas and all that stuff. I mean, they were
radical.
Yeah, they almost got thrown off TV. Like that's how radical they were, or whatever.
Right.
But, yeah. Well, speaking of rappers in Men on a Mission, they are the second match of the evening. It is Men on a Mission taking on Corey Student and Steve Smith. Now, I have this also noted. Now, we're in Bushkill, Pennsylvania. I think this is the first time we've been in Bushkill. Usually it's in New York or surrounding area. Men on a Mission in New York, they usually get a pretty good reaction. The fans are always doing whoop there. It's even gone over to WCW where the WCW fans see a black guy in Too Close Scorpio and they do the same thing thinking that he's part of Men on a Mission or something. But when Men on a Mission came out this time around, they didn't really get a strong reaction. Yeah, there were some people in the crowd doing the whoop, there it is, but there's a considerable amount of people who look disinterested and just do not care.
For sure.
So it looks like the act is strong in New York, but expanding it looks like maybe it hasn't connected as well.
Well, and it's an interesting point to make because if you think of, the music scene in New York in 93, I mean, it's huge as far as the rap game is considered. So that makes sense to me whereas maybe outside of that bubble, it probably isn't going to get over as big. And it's important to note too that it was, Men on the Mission were even trying to get the crowd into it during their entrance, like promote, hey, do this thing with us.
Yeah.
And still maybe I'd say less than half the crowd was doing it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It's a very interesting point to make culturally that maybe Vince is kind of stuck in that New York state of mind that, if it works there, it's going to work anywhere. Well, maybe not necessarily, maybe that's not going to be the case.
Yeah. That's always been their mentality, is that if it gets over in the Garden or whichever, that they can run with it anywhere else.
Right.
So yeah, that's usually been the case. As for the match here, Mabel backdrops Smith and follows up with a standing drop kick. Mo keeps control on Student with some basic strikes. Mabel just casually stands on Student's back at one point on the mat, and like he's just flailing around on the mat like, "Oh dear God, get this huge man off of me." Mabel splashes Student in the corner. Mabel delivers a DDT on Student, and then Mo comes off the top rope to splash Mabel on top of him for the win. I didn't find it all that enjoyable. Same old routine here. The finish, I don't understand why he's coming off the top rope to shove Mabel on. It doesn't really add any impact to the move. And like I said before, I was kind of surprised to see that Man on a Mission just not really getting the same type of reaction that they're getting in New York. So maybe they're not going to be a top tier team that I previously thought they may have been.
Well, all I have written down for this one is who cares? I was not very interested in it. I didn't think the finish looked very good. It seems at this point, especially with this match, this is a turning point for this team because it seemed like they struggled. They struggled to get the crowd behind them. The moves weren't very good. I don't know. And it's, I think we spoke about this last week, but I think this match right here, this moment for Men on the Mission is only going to jumpstart the progression of Mabel and the departure of Mo and Oscar. So I definitely noticed that. I think Mabel got in most of the offense, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it was. Mo was in there very briefly, and then he was just part of the finish.
Yeah, so I think they know where they're going. I think even maybe some of the crowd knows where they're going. But it's just a matter of getting there to this point, and I think the patience, with this team is going to be very, very low. I don't think they'll be around for very long at all.
I think even Mo knows where they're going. I think Mo knows where they're going.
Yes.
And he's just like, I'm going to stick around for the paycheck for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then when that runs out, I'll just, go on the indies and try and make some money. And then Oscar, like, I don't even know. I don't even know why Oscar adds no value to them.
No. If anything, he's supposed to be the voice, I guess, of Men on a Mission, but I don't think that's a good thing. Like, especially for two charismatic rapper guys. Like, they should probably have more of a character than here's just two guys, and then Mo is their Oscar is their hype man and their mouthpiece guy.
Yeah.
That's more of a heel thing, it sounds like to me.
Well, I was just thinking about this. You could have it. I would have had it that that Oscar was like their record manager guy or whatever, spokesperson thing.
Okay.
And then later on, you could essentially turn Oscar heel by having him like cut out their money, and he's like funneling it to Jeff Jarrett so that he can continue his country music career or something. And then, like, they find out about it and they're just like, what the fuck? And then Oscar's like, I've always loved country music. I hate rap music.
Holy shit.
Could
you imagine? Or you could have Oscar kind of, funnel the money just to Mo, and Mabel finds out like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah. And then it's Mabel or it's Mo and Oscar, and they're like the heels. He starts coming out with big jewelry and like Mabel's money he's kind of spent.
And then Mabel's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How did you get all this stuff?
Yeah, you could play it that way. Then Mabel's like the face, and Mo's like the little weaselly heel with Oscar who stole all the money.
And that will just lead to Mabel destroying Mo in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I could see that. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish we were writing this stuff. Anyway, we go to Ico Pro ad with Razor Ramon.
A new one.
Yeah. And we go to a Survivor Series report with Todd Pettengill. Tango goes over the rules again about the elimination rules and how 4-on-1, 3-on-2, 3-on-1, whatever. He promotes the show. Here we'll run down the card real quick. All Americans against Foreign Fanatics. Tatanka is out of the match and will be replaced. We'll find out next weekend who will be replacing him. The Hart family against Lawler and his Kings. Bret Hart shared a pre-tape promo saying that Lawler will regret ever starting this feud with his family. Lawler will have 4 Hearts coming after him at Survivor Series, and he promises that Lawler will go down. Ramon, Kid, Perfect Genetti against IRS, Diesel, Adam Bomb, and Rick Martel.
I'm interested in that one.
That seems like the strongest one of the group here.
For sure.
Bigelow, Booger, Head Shrinkers against the 4 Doinks. We see footage from Superstars where the Head Shrinkers got doinked prior to their match, and that is reference to the big screen splitting into 2 doinks and like confusing them, whatever. The Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Rock and Roll Express, will defend against the Heavenly Bodies.
Yeah, that seemed kind of random. Just kind of thrown in there. Just to make note here, too, the doinks that are shown, they're all Matt Bourne, from what I could tell, on the video screen for that little segment there. And I really want to point out one of the lines that Bret delivers in his promo. He says that, it's bad enough that you have one Hart wanting to rip Lawler's legs from his little body. That's what Bret says about Jerry Lawler.
It's the best feud on television, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that one made me laugh. I thought it was a pretty heated promo from Bret. Like, I thought he was really kind of putting forth a decent effort for that, especially compared to even some of the in-ring promos with Vince on Raw. Like, just no emotion, very canned from Bret. This one seemed like there was a little bit of fuel, but I think it's because you involve the family and Bret starts taking it serious as far as, on the mic goes. So that was enjoyable to me. Other than that, as far as this little segment here with Todd, again, the Smoky Mountain Tag Championship match kind of comes out of nowhere. I guess I'm looking forward to it. Maybe
that could be a sleeper of a match. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
If they get 12, 15 minutes on pay-per-view, it could be really good.
Right. So I mean, we'll take it. I'm a fan of the Heavenly Body at this point. I would say of the Heavenly Bodies. So we'll see. And then hey, it'll break up some of the monotony of the multi-man matches too.
A different style of wrestling, probably. They'll probably go more southern with it.
Right. So that'll be, I guess, a nice mix in there. But all in all things considered, really the only Survivor Series team matchup I'm looking forward to is the one we made note of.
Yeah. Vince McMahon lets us know that Lex Luger is winning the votes for a match next week against Pierre. Can't say that's a shocker in the slightest. We then go to The Undertaker, and he partakes in a DWI ad, like a little PSA, I guess, of sorts.
Yeah.
Saying that if you drink and drive, you'll meet The Undertaker.
And kids are probably watching at home like, hell yeah, I'm going to drink and drive.
Yeah, right. Like, I can't wait till I turn 16. I'm going to get drunk and I'm going to meet The Undertaker.
Very, very bizarre there. I love WWF's consistent attempts to do anything they can to kiss the ass of, popular media. I love it. Vince is always trying to make that happen. Even today, they still do that. So it's just, I don't know. It's funny to me, I think.
It's like the fucking drug ad that he had with that girl.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm getting distracted because I'm getting blown up with messages. I apologize.
Oh, I can tell you're not interested in our podcast at all, Bob. Thanks.
I am 100% interested.
No.
I'm interested in you and your voice and everybody listening.
No.
I am. It's fine. Match number 3, Rick Martel taking on Jean Paul.
Oh.
I kind of said that like as if he was another model too.
Jean Paul.
Oh, what are you wearing? Jean Paul. Oh, who cheated on you? Jean Paul.
He has class. He has style.
This should have been a match where Rick Martel's like, no, we're not fighting. Jean Paul is your name? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, You could be a new name of my fragrance.
Yeah, stop the match.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? So you know how he has arrogance, right? And he sprays it.
Right.
You can see Jean Paul, and he's like, "No, I want you to masturbate into this, and I want to spray you all over. That way, when I squeeze it out and it hits the fence, they all get hit with some Jean Paul.
You get the taste of Jean Paul on your lips.
Just make sure you eat a lot of pineapple."
Oh shit!
Yeah, we're going NC-17 here today. McMahon teases on commentary that Randy Savage, oh yeah, the Macho Man, that he could be on the All-American team.
Fucking good.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Get the Tonka out of there. Get in Randy Savage. Here we go. He should have been on there before the Tonka ever was, but that's okay.
Well,
that's how we go. Equal opportunities, whatever. Paul starts the match with a drop kick on Martel after avoiding a shoulder in the corner. Martel ducks a crossbody attempt and then promptly wins with the Boston Grab.
Why
he just grabbed by the legs, like no transition. He's just like, okay, it's over, dude. I'm tired of this.
Why is Rick Martel getting squash matches?
I couldn't tell you. I thought he was like the guy to enhance other people, and now he's getting enhancement matches.
Wasn't that in the notes when they rehired him? Like, oh, they're only just bringing him back to, get younger guys over or whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty much the idea.
What the fuck? Get Rick Martel out of here. I'm sorry, but you know what? If you're a Rick Martel fan and you are entertained by his lackluster offense or his stale promos, I'm so sorry to hear that. And that's all time. Like, I don't care if he's in his prime. I don't care if it's 93. I don't care if it's 97 WCW. I don't like Rick Martel. I get nothing from Rick Martel. Nothing.
I have said it before. The one thing that just my only memory of Rick Martel every time is that every time he kicks somebody, his damn quad or whatever, his fucking thighs, not quad, his thighs are always all oiled up and they're always shaking around. It just bugs the shit out of me. And you know who else that happened to a lot? Would be The Rock, because he would fucking shake his leg and you could see his thigh just fucking shaking around, all oiled up. And I was just like, that just is weird to me.
So let me get this straight. Okay. You give me shit for Borga's tits, but it's okay for you to talk about Rick Martel's oiled up thighs shaking around.
Yes.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
Well, would it be, what's worse? What if I were to say that I get really uncomfortable watching Too Cold Scorpio matches because his ding dong is down to his fucking kneecaps?
What?
So I get uncomfortable watching that, knowing
Holy shit.
that there is probably at least 5 girls in the crowd that are going to get fucking murdered by his ding dong.
I just couldn't breathe there for a second.
I'm sure that a girl has said that before to Too Cold Scorpio.
Holy shit. I'm sorry I've never noticed. I'll have to watch some of our WCW tapes a little bit closer from now on.
I'm not zooming in on Scorpio. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, you will, because I'm going to force you.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there was a picture. There was a picture in a Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
I want to see the outline.
No, well, here's the thing. Okay. I have like an unhealthy amount of wrestling magazines. It's pushing like 800 at this point.
Okay, throw up.
Thanks a lot, asshole. So it's about 800. PWIs, The Wrestler, Inside Wrestling, all of them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There is for sure a picture in one of those magazines. And one of these days I'll have to take vacation from work and I'll have to go through it and look through every single fucking one, because I was like 10 years old. They have it where he's just standing there, just him, and you can see the outline of his dick, and you're looking at it, and it's like, where does it end? Like, has it gone past the outline of the frame of the picture? Like what the hell?
He tucked it in his knee pad.
And here's the thing, I would hope to God that he doesn't have like a boner at that time. Can you just imagine what happens? This is a weird conversation to have.
What the fuck?
On a podcast. But as a white American who is average, to see that, it's just like,
no wonder he dances around. He's got something to be pretty happy about.
Yeah, man. I remember going to 2 CW shows and Scorpio was in there, and I was like, that thing's gonna fly out.
Oh shit!
Because he's doing like springboards and like twisting.
Well, he wore baggy pants. How could you tell?
You can tell.
Oh shit! Okay.
You can tell. It's like, the way that I would describe it is like, if you were to stack like 4 Red Bull bottles or cans, that's probably a Scorpio penis.
Oh shit.
So,
well, hey, the more you learn,
the more you know.
Watch out for that now, kids. Now when we see Too Cold, or when we see Flash Funk
down
the road.
Oof.
The boots aren't the only thing tall.
Yeah.
In association with his pants.
Yeah. I think, you know what? Maybe those boots were so high to make sure that that's where the penis would go in case it just continued to go and grow, you know?
Probably. Vince was probably like, God damn it, we got to contain that thing.
Holy hell. I bet you when they were thinking of the Val Venus character, they probably called up Scorpio first.
Like, hey, man, do you want to do this? Because, like, you're a shoe-in.
I bet you Jenna Jameson probably looked at it and she was like, oh, that's not fitting.
Oh, my God.
That's just not fitting. Like, yeah, I'm loose, but I'm going to have to be real loose for that one. Like,
this is shit. Thank you.
Hi, Mom. Okay, so we go back to the arena.
Back to the arena, Bob. Let's get back there.
By Rick Bard. We've gone off the rails today. Randy Savage has left the commentary table, and he's kind of standing by the apron of the ring because he knows that Crush is coming up next. McMahon is trying to calm Savage down. He's holding Savage back on the floor. Savage tosses McMahon to the floor.
Levels him.
Yeah, he grabs him by his shoulders and just hurls him.
Yeah.
Across the floor here. And he goes right after Crush. And he is just pummeling him on the entranceway. He rams Crush onto the ring steps face first, and then continues with the strike. Several officials come running out trying to break him apart. Savage has gone nuts, continually going after him. Crush breaks free, and then he goes after Savage as well. And then eventually they kind of get, broken apart here. Needless to say that the match that Crush was supposed to be involved in does not take place. Now, what did you think of this segment?
When Savage took Vince and proceeded to throw him to the floor, I was legitimately shocked. Like, holy shit, did that just really happen? Did Vince just get thrown out by Randy Savage? And it's interesting too, because the way Vince even kind of sits back and like goes to back to the commentary table, he doesn't talk right away. And you could tell he's probably just festering. But for that character to have that happen to him on TV like that was very surprising to me in 1993.
It was like almost it came across as if a revolutionary moment.
Yeah.
Like they're finally expanding. And, you had mentioned, I want to point it out right now. You had mentioned like, oh, I wonder if Jerry Jarrett's booking or not. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. He has been part of the booking team. And this seems like something that Jerry Jarrett would want to push onto television because it's kind of got like a Memphis shoot style feel to it. You
know what? I was going to make reference to, following the thing with Vince. The way it's shot, the way it feels like Attitude Era 1998.
Yeah.
It feels real. It feels off the cuff. Again, unscripted, uncontrolled.
Uncooked.
Uncut. That's what it felt like. And it was a little fleeting moment because it was under control. I mean, we came back from commercial. They were still kind of tussling around. But then another commercial passed and it's as if nothing happened. So it was very, very quick. But that little piece right there, the same thing with like the Luna and Sherry fight and the 1, 2, 3 Kid Razor Ramon pin and like all these little bits and pieces throughout 1993 are almost like seeds. Their seeds are being planted. Here it is. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. This is another one where Vince gets fucking thrown to the ground. All enough time for them to grow, those seeds to grow, that by, 97, 98, 99, we are full-fledged. You literally don't know what's going to happen every Raw. You have no idea. I think it's very important. And like you said, it is kind of a revolutionary moment because I can't think of a time before this where Vince gets thrown on the ground by a wrestler.
No.
I can't even imagine some of the heels doing that. And Savage is a face.
Yeah. I think he did a great job of showing how pissed he is.
Yeah.
How badly he needs to get his hands on Crush.
For sure. Yeah, it was very surprising. Very surprising.
I thought that was a highlight of the show.
Yes.
It hasn't had very many on them.
Agree.
But luckily, we have another highlight because our main event tonight is Bob Backlund against Barry Horowitz.
Barn
Early on, probably a 20-minute classic here. Horowitz takes Backlund down on the mat a few times. Savage returns to ringside as Backlund has controlled Horowitz. Savage is fired up. And he confronts Heenan, saying like, "Oh, you're always talking bad about me, especially when I couldn't talk right. You know what I'm talking about, brother." All these things. Heenan's like, no, man. I'm just trying to make you feel better. And then if Savage had the headset off, he'd be like, "Yeah, that guy's a lunatic, man. Get him out of here," or whatever. We go backstage, and the cameras focus on a door, and you can hear some banging on the door. And after a couple of strikes, Crush breaks through, and he's like, "I watch Savage." He's slamming, hitting walls. Savage is like, "Okay, brother, here I come." And he leaves the table, runs backstage, and he attacks Crush from behind. He sends his Crush into the wall a few times. Of course, there's officials all around, but they can't stop either one of them. We go to commercial, and the match appears to be over with. So we don't get a finish. We don't go back to the ring.
Yeah. There's no finish.
It would seem as if this match was just taking place for the live crowd because they wouldn't have probably seen anything going on backstage.
Right.
So, with that being said, just similar to the Skinner Undertaker match, which we are assuming Skinner won on Raw
for sure.
Earlier
He
this
definitely
year.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Barry Horowitz won this match probably about 20 minutes.
Yep.
I'm assuming like a springboard 450 splash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he probably won the match on that.
Yep.
And it likely ended Backlund's career. So that's what I'm assuming took place, and we'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
Horowitz will probably, he might be someone that he might, be part of All-Americans now or something.
Okay.
A huge win.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll just go with that. What'd you think of this whole segment and the Crush Savage stuff?
So, to kind of highlight the Crush Savage stuff, just the imagery and the way they filmed it reminded me of the Pillman Stone Cold thing, where Stone Cold breaks into Pillman's house and they fight and they got to be pulled apart and all, just the chaos of it all. It was done very, very well. Again, it felt kind of real in a sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. Crush breaks out of what seemingly looks like a closet in the inside. And the door wasn't locked. You can tell as he's banging on it like it's not locked. So there's definitely cracks in the armor. But, I mean, if you're nitpicking, you're going to find those anywhere. So, regardless of all that stuff, I thought it was really well done. I think it fits their feud awesomely. This kind of intensity is what they needed, I think, to really get it over. Otherwise, if they would have treated it like anything else, I think it would have fell pretty flat, especially considering it's Savage, who's made out to be just a commentator at this point, and Crush, who's, a flop, then coming back and hopefully not a flop again. So with all that in mind, watching through this stuff, I liked it. And when Savage is a commentary, like you said, he is acting like a madman. Heenan's, Vince is trying to calm him down. Heenan's trying to double talk his way out of it. And, Savage, nothing's running me out of here, Heenan. Pass the word. And he's just fucking nuts. He's going nuts. So Savage super sells the moment, sells it for him, sells it for Crush, totally, makes the whole thing. And I think that it's probably one of the highlights of the year. at this point.
100%. And like I mentioned when we were talking about it earlier, this is the angle, and this is a huge contributing part to it that I am 100% interested in.
Yep.
It's this one and Brett Lawler. Like if you were to have these matches headlining your house shows, your main house shows, I'm fucking going to them. Put Brett and Lawler in a cage match.
Oh, yeah.
Doing, and have this on the undercard, like in a no disqualification street fight or something.
Right.
Like have that be your intermission and then have the cage match at the end. Like I'm buying a ticket.
Totally.
To those shows.
Yeah, no, totally. For sure.
So,
I agree. And it's nice to see that they're not dropping the ball with this. If anything, they're ramping it up even more. Like, no, let's take it to the next level. Now what can we do? Oh, let's have Savage throw Vince down. Let's have him fighting backstage and let's show all of it. And that's where it's really refreshing to see the different road that they're taking with this one.
Right. Yeah, it's like a fresh breath of storytelling.
Yes.
Compared to what they've done.
Yes.
Even this year. So I've really enjoyed it. Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan talk about Savage, and they think that Savage needs some help. He's really fired up and maybe some anger management or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of Savage, we get it's kind of funny. So we have like Savage is going like a madman. He's pissed off. And then it's like, here's the figures ad with Randy Savage.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
The lightning quick hands of Virgil. The audacity of IRS. Here's WWF figures sold separately. It's like this guy just tried to murder another. Like, what the hell? Like, he just threw McMahon on the ground. Like,
poor timing.
Yeah, like he's not so friendly looking anymore.
Yeah.
It is announced that Lex Luger will wrestle Quebecer Pierre next week after getting 62% of the vote. Heenan picks Pierre to win the match because, well, he's a Quebecer.
Right, of course.
So insightful.
Sure.
62% though. I was kind of thinking maybe he'd get like 80.
Well, it's funny because somebody was like, I want to say 30% or something. One of the other guys was not that far off as a mid-carder face. I can't remember who it was. I want to say Marty, but I don't know if it was Marty. But it's very interesting. Yeah, like you said, they call it a landslide, but it kind of wasn't really. It really wasn't.
Yeah, because we have 4 people. So what, 25% for each guy. So he essentially took, so you could cancel out one of them.
Which I think it was Doink with the lowest. I think Doink only had like 3% or something.
They showed the percentage. I don't remember them showing anything.
Yeah, I think because I think it went Doink, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Marty, Lex, and they showed the graphic. I remember.
I remember seeing the graphic, but I don't think I was paying attention to see if there was a percentage with it. So
yeah, yep, there definitely was.
So yeah, so you could probably eliminate Doink from it. So it's not really a landslide to me is like if you can eliminate more than half of the guys.
All of that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But that's okay. So no surprise, next week we'll see Luger Pierre, and I believe this is Luger's first singles match since like April.
It's been forever.
On Raw.
Yeah, it's been forever.
So it's be interesting to see how that plays out. Before we close out, we go outside, and Randy Savage and Crutch have continued to brawl as we close out the program.
Yeah, so they're outside on the arena because both of them have been locked out at this point. So they're locked outside the arena. They brawl. They're like through the bushes. Crush is about to slam Randy through a tree as we fade out. So they're going all the way with this thing. All the way to the street they're fighting. So I don't know. Where do we go next week? What happens? That's the mindset I'm in. They have me looking forward to next week after really what was a pretty lackluster Raw. All things considered.
It was. Yeah. And then, and it's funny because usually the live Raws are stronger.
I know.
And I think the main focus for this was like Savage, the Savage Man moment.
Yeah.
I think is the memorable part of this.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. For sure.
Not anything in ring wise. And it's like a 5-minute segment that really, I think is what they're trying to go to captivate the crowd.
Yes, for sure. And it's funny too, because even with a match as high profile as a, Scott Steiner versus Borga that they built up, it took forever. And you forget about that immediately. Like you don't even think of that. you think of what we just saw with Savage and Crush and Vince and Bobby, and that carries you through wanting to see the next episode. You want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'd say as a whole, for this episode, I mean, other than really the last 10 minutes, were a shorter watch. I took several breaks. I watched this on Thanksgiving Day. I took several breaks in between, which I never do. Usually I sit down, I watch the whole thing right through, take notes as I go kind of thing. This one I couldn't. It was pretty boring. There was a lot of lack of development as far as, hey, we're just promoting Survivor Series at this point. Some pretty confusing talent choices here to feature as well. Rick Martel getting a squash match, that sort of thing. Just a little bit bizarre. So if you want to go back and watch this one, skip to about 38 minutes in and watch it from there.
Yeah, because anything prior to that, you're not missing anything.
Exactly. Right.
So, yeah, for me, it's really, I mean, Scott Steiner is always fun to watch. You know, it's unfortunate that he's with a guy like Borga, who's not doing anything. And then the Crush Savage has me completely sold on them. You know, I want to see, maybe, I don't know if they'll maybe wrestle at Royal Rumble or if they're going to wait till all the way to Mania before they have a singles match. But
right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for it. A lackluster week for sure. I don't think I would consider it a chore. I didn't, interestingly enough, I don't think I took many breaks watching this. I just kind of powered through it because I'm a man.
You just didn't pay attention.
Apparently not. I'm really surprised with like the percentage thing. So I remember early in the show they did that, but there was no percentage.
Yeah. They show a graphic. Yep.
Yeah. And then I must have at the end because I remember them showing the graphic again.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I must have been like, oh, they're just showing me.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't bother. I was probably just busy typing up what they were talking about. So
right.
That's a good thing why, we're here. That's why you're always observant and catching things that, I'm not paying attention to. So.
Even down to the crowd signs, Bob. You didn't even laugh when I explained what it said. You didn't even care. Borga is finished.
I don't know what you said because you cut out.
You didn't even laugh when I explained the crowd sign earlier. Borga is finished.
You must have cut out on when you said that too, because I didn't hear that.
Bullshit.
But I did see that. I did see that though. I saw that in the crowd. That was something I did see.
I don't think you're paying attention.
I think you were cut out because I do remember that. And I thought it was kind of clever with the sign, to be honest with you.
So did I.
When he was like, oh, Borga finished. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
There's some educated fans in Bushkill, Pennsylvania.
I wouldn't be surprised if WWF steals that and like puts it in one of these hype packages.
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
I would.
Yeah.
Or like just tell Luger, like, Luger, you can just be like, hey, Borga, tonight you will be finished or whatever. Like, it's finished.
Yeah, finish. Duh.
Finished. Yeah, you'll embrace your finish when I finish you.
That sounds like a Luger promo, exactly the way you just delivered it like that.
Yeah.
Horribly. Yeah, finished.
Finished. Yeah. Hey, Lex Luger.
UFA.
And, UFA. I'm telling you, man. Classic moment. I don't know if that's ever been like in Botchamania or anything, but it needs to be.
It's pretty funny.
You're pushing this dude to be your top babyface American hero. And he goes, it starts with a U, ends with an A, and has an F. UFA. Like, no, man. What are you talking about? UFA. Maybe he's thinking about when he was in football and he was an unrestricted free agent. And that's what UFA stands for.
Oh my God.
So maybe.
Just got confused. That's all.
Yeah.
It happens, Bob. It happens.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just bizarre. Just pretty bad stuff.
That's for sure.
That's
for sure.
So that we wrap up this one. We have one more episode to go in this taping sequence, which obviously we do 2 a day. And then we have the Survivor Series Showdown and Survivor Series. Now, I'll tell you right now, I've never watched Survivor Series Showdown. And luckily it was recently added. The complete hour-and-a-half version has been added to the WWF Wow, I just said WWF. WWE Network. So we'll be checking it out through that, and then we'll watch Survivor Series 93. Hopefully we'll survive. And that should give us about 6 or 7 episodes in the bag, because we've noted it before that we always tape in advance to make sure that there's something here every Monday, just in case something goes on.
You never know.
So we will have, after Survivor Series, we'll be taking a few weeks off, which, again, none of anybody listening will ever know, because we'll be jumping back on it as soon as we get down to like 1 episode that's in the bag. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to having that little break to get through maybe a rough patch of television. Yeah, for sure. Starting like mid-October or so, or end of October.
Yep.
So
for sure. No, same here. And you know what? We'll actually be able to enjoy the holidays without having to record. Because, we like the holidays too, people. Okay?
That's right. I got a family.
So we don't want to hear it. Damn it. Give us no more flack. Okay? Sick of it. Even though nobody said anything, we're still mad.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Yeah. People still ain't sharing it.
Nothing.
You know what? That's what we want for Christmas. Bob and I want you to share our podcast with 30 of your friends and family.
Yeah, you know what? That can be their Christmas present.
Yeah. Just give the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's what you do. So, Mike Campbell, Johnny B. Smith, I think his name is, Mike Vincent, Mick Price, all 4 of our listeners. I'm kidding. They can, they and any of you also listening, whether you're on the freaking Awesome Wrestling Network and stuff like that, you can just, instead of buying somebody like a really expensive stereo, I don't even know if stereos are cool anymore, or a TV or anything, why don't you just go to the IcoPod website? You just hit the copy button, and then you go on Facebook and you just drop a link into their messenger. They'll get it like Christmas Eve or something. That can be their early Christmas present. And they'll be like, oh, what's this? And you can be like, oh, it's just a podcast with 2 guys talking about wrestling from 93 and just bullshitting. And then they'll be like, wow, that's the greatest present ever. What else did you get me? And they'll be like, nothing.
And then they'll be like, well, I would have preferred a punch in the nuts.
Right.
But, we're the second best thing.
I mean, in some cases, we're better than a punch in nuts, because at least when you're listening to us, your balls aren't going to be tingly.
Or in Too Cold Scorpio's case, your dick blocks it and basically beats you in an arm wrestling contest.
It's a perfect crime. Has Joey Ryan done his like dick flipping thing yet with Too Cold Scorpio? Because he should be the only person ever to like be able to block it or something.
Or just have Too Cold's dick eat Joey Ryan.
There you go.
Just call it a day.
Yeah.
I like it.
You can't top that.
I like it. And nothing says Christmas like a little dick talk. So once you drop these links in and they hear some of these episodes, you are on the good list for next year.
Yeah, buddy. You are.
Let me tell you.
You'll be sitting at the big boy table come Christmas. You won't be at the kid table anymore.
Damn right. No need to fucking get a spare set of plates or nothing.
Nothing.
You're at the main table, buddy. You ain't eating off a paper plate. This is fine china. That's episode.
Right. You know what? You can help yourself to seconds.
That's right.
You don't even have to ask. You can just walk right up.
Damn right.
There you go. Okay. Well, that was a fun episode number 45. You got anything else there, Austin, or are you all set for this amazing episode of IcoPod that would have talked a lot about penises?
So we had, just to cover it quick for those who are just tuning in about the last 30 seconds of this episode, Dick Talk, some frozen spots, Bob not paying attention, and a Rick Martel squash match.
Listen, I apologize for not paying attention. I've been getting distracted with the various messages, but that's just an indicator of the episode watching of Raw. It was not very interesting.
Well, unlike you, I did pay attention. So,
well, you know what? I have like ADHD or something, so it's very hard for me to focus on one thing at a time.
Unless it's Too Cold Scorpio's penis outline.
Well, that's just memorizing. Okay, like You know, it's like a car wreck. If you see a car wreck, you're gonna look. If you see Tuco Scorpio, you're gonna look at his dick. I mean, that's just how it happens.
Well, speaking of car wrecks, Bob, that's all I got. Get us out of here.
All right, man. For Oz and Skinner, I'm Bob Collin Jr., and this has been IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.